The revolution will now be televised.
Sweet, I gotta eat. With my hustle turbo, never gon' fall. Let it be known. Ain't nothing sweet about the heat. Let it be known when the doors low, then the guns blow. Ain't nothing sweet, I gotta eat. With my hustle turbo, never gon' fall. Let it be known.
I ain't spitting white lies, pumping niggas full of smoke. I'm on that block, I'm getting green, I'm pumping white bars of coke. Making broke niggas rich, teaching novice how to pitch. I made that switch, make yours. Matter of fact, fall back and forth. I grind with a cause, daddy, money's my motivation. I'm a rapper by choice, a hustler by occupation. And my street profession, niggas call me Connect. And hustlers worldwide, show that man respect. Hustlers worldwide, for that reason I collect. See, that feeling's mutual, I never deal with that usual suspect. A snitch nigga's always on deck to put your business on the fence, take cassette. Nevertheless, I put.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Delgados.
Deviate from the whiskey thing, but you kind of put it out there. We know what you're about. Now, I just want to get into a little political conversation because we talk about politics.
I've been waiting for this.
Okay, we talk about politics probably almost every day or every time we see each other. So, what are your thoughts about what's going on in the Middle East with Israel attacking Iran, and then we followed suit? What are your thoughts, and what's the angle?
There's just so much volatility in the world. We have our own homegrown problems. We have our homegrown issues. It's sort of counterintuitive, me being in the line of work that I do.
Okay.
But when our schools are perfect, when there's no hunger, when there's no homelessness, when there's nobody wanting, there's nobody seeking, there's nobody who's without, then go overseas and enjoy yourself. But to the extent that this country has its own ills, its own original sins, its own faults that are either unaddressed or unnoticed, I find it difficult to go overseas and, nation build or regime change or all of these other catchphrases that we love to have. And, there are times that I'm talking to a 16-year-old in Brooklyn about how he should get out of gang life and go to college. And he looks at me like college is this far off, impossible, nebulous place.
Imaginary place.
Imaginary. I can't have that. I can't have that conversation and then go home and then turn on the TV and then Google the cost of one Tomahawk missile. And we're bragging about how we've sent over 65 of them. Without getting into the righteousness of the actual engagement, it is incredibly difficult for me to spend time in East New York, Brownsville, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, Flatbush, Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, and see the human cost of being without, of being not in a favored position, being disadvantaged, disenfranchised, and being not a part of that spectrum. The problem is, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. And we have far too many people that are on the menu and they're being eaten up. They're being ravaged. They're being devoured. They're being swallowed and regurgitated and digested and excreted. And imagine being here in New York and you've not eaten twice today. And then you turn on the TV and say that this country has enough money to export nation building or regime change or anything like that when I'm just trying to eat twice today.
So this specific topic that you just spoke about, which was America bombing Iran, one, without the consent of the American people, two, without the approval of the American people, three, we're sticking our nose into a conflict that has been going on now for centuries. We need to mind our business. America is nosy as shit. Benjamin Netanyahu likes to poke his nose and start a bunch of trouble in that region. He's extremely aggressive. He's an aggressive leader. right? He's more of a Jewish dictator, right? He's been in power now for how long?
He's not well liked in his region.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So it's like,
that's not in the news because they don't like him in Israel.
of course.
Yeah.
Who likes war? Who likes a warmonger? He's a warmonger. He's a bully. He's bullying the people of Palestine, and now he's got smoke with the people here, and the United States is jumping in to help him. Bro, if Netanyahu wants to pick fights, he's got to win them on his own.
Well, Trump's the one that's backing him up, and
I just told
Trump's
you.
your guy.
This is baby Jerusalem,
Whoa, Trump's your guy?
in a way.
Okay.
And Trump,
I would
in a
love
way,
to know
let's
that
talk
way.
about that. Let's talk about that.
In a way.
Let's talk about that for a second.
In a way. Let's talk about that for a second. And I think we touched on this a little bit in the first episode. Throughout my life, growing up here in the United States, and you were born and raised here as well, Kola and Eric, you as well. When either Democrat or Republican, have you lived under leadership that was not racist? Right? People complain, oh, Trump's racist. And you don't think Reagan was racist? Right? The Kennedys, none of them were racist? Are you kidding me, bro? Like, are you insane? Like, do people really know what's going on here? Like, whether it's Democrat or Republican, there's always a racist agenda. Always.
Being in law enforcement, I can tell you right now, whenever you pull over somebody for speeding, everybody else was speeding too. Not a good argument.
But it's not. This is a fact. And
So one guy's racist, but he was racist too.
This is a fact, and it's not even an argument. I'd rather have a racist in my face who tells me, you know what? I don't like black people. I don't like Puerto Ricans. I don't like you. Than someone who's like, you know what? Us Democrats, we want everyone to work together. Let's all come under this umbrella, and under this Democratic umbrella, things are going to be better for black people. Education is going to be better for you. Healthcare is going to be better for you. It's a lie. None of them are doing better for you. You need to understand this. And as long as people are under the impression that if they vote red or blue, things will be better for them, this is a lie. Things have not improved for me under the Democrats, and they've never improved for me under the Republicans. I made my own way selling coke. I made my money on the streets. I never got a grant. Nobody came to help me out with no money for school. Nobody didn't come buy me no car. Nobody didn't lend me no money. I couldn't get no financing from the bank. Everything that happened for us, you and I made happen. So what I have to say on the President Trump or on the Barack or on the Clinton, on the anybody, right? You got to get it. Don't depend on this government for nothing. That's what I have to say about it. So the way I feel about Trump, Trump is just like me. He's a criminal just like me. He's a felon just like me. He's out here getting it. He's a white felon. Don't let anybody fool you up like this guy's presidential. This is a gangster businessman from New York.
That's true. You ain't lying
Right?
about that.
Involved in commercial real estate his whole life. You know, I have my commercial real estate broker's license. If I can tell you one thing about commercial real estate, and you can fact check this. I was at Marcus and Millichap, one of the largest commercial investment banks here in the United States. I can tell you this. It is one of the dirtiest, grimiest businesses in the world. I will do anything to make sure that you get financed so that you can purchase that property so that I can get my commission. And then after you do that, I'm going to sell that. I'm going to do a 1031 exchange so I can defer my taxes for 7 years so I can keep rolling that money into new investments. Then I'm going to do another 1031 exchange. People think Trump doesn't pay taxes. It's not that he doesn't pay taxes. It's that he uses the vehicle of 1031 exchange to defer his taxes for as long as possible.
Okay.
And that's what he does. So when people are like, oh, you know, Trump's racist and this and that, Trump's just a gangster, just like you. You guys are exactly the fucking same. You are not different.
Okay, so how you feel? I felt Trump is had the agenda that to whitewash the country. That's my opinion. You know, you see what he's doing with all the Hispanics, getting rid of them. Now, Geraldo Herrera said this, and I'm surprised because I'm not a Geraldo Herrera fan. He said this
Geraldo Rivera.
last week. Yes. He said, you don't see Trump telling ICE to go into all these Irish pubs who has all these people who overstayed their visas, working behind the counter, selling whiskey to go lock them up. They're not doing that. And there's a bunch of there's about 300 or 400 Irish pubs in New York alone.
More than that.
They're not doing it.
More than that, but
Fair point.
Huh?
I mean, it's a fair point.
But
Honestly, they say that all politics is local. Right?
Okay.
I can't worry more about what's going on at 1600 Pennsylvania than I do 400 Pennsylvania Avenue in Brooklyn. I'm more concerned with the plight of the people who are disadvantaged than the people who, are part of the political class or the political elite. Obviously, there are people who are sort of in charge of the direction of the country.
All right.
But right now, as we're talking, as we're sipping on expensive scotch, there is a homeless kid who has to go to school tomorrow morning. That is I can't even weigh in on a Donald Trump or any agenda or
I'm
anything.
sympathetic to that. All I'm saying is this. What's taking place under this administration is nothing new. Eric brought a point to the light where he said, I feel like they're trying to whitewash America. When in American history hasn't America been trying to whitewash itself? Like,
Well, listen,
I don't
that's
understand.
another show. That's too much. I have a scientific answer for that, and it's way too long, and we have a few minutes left.
Okay.
So we're going to get back to that, and Cole is coming back, and we're going to talk about that.
Okay. We're going to take a second to recognize our sponsor, without whom this would not be possible. We'd like to shout out Jack Turner Watches, available at jackturnerwatches.com. I'm currently wearing the Mahiko, made in Switzerland, Swiss movement, amazing timepieces, affordably priced. You won't be mad if you purchase a Jack Turner watch. Jack Turner timepieces.
Okay, but before we leave, let's talk about this $500 bet I have with this guy about Diddy's getting off or not getting off. We have a $500 bet. Am I lying?
We do.
We do.
We do.
So let's talk about the developments. They threw away 3 charges. They dismissed it today. Right? How do you feel about him getting off? What are your thoughts about Diddy getting off or getting convicted?
So, all criminal prosecutions have certain elements that are in common. This one, like every other case, the burden of proof is and remains with the prosecution. They had certain elements of evidence that were adduced at trial.
Okay.
One thing that all of the prognosticators and all of the predictors and all of the commentators can tell you, can't predict what a jury is going to do. You have 12 people who have 12 divergent opinions.
Answer my question, you political bastard.
Go.
Who's getting off? Is he getting off or not?
Honestly, I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I'm a numbers guy.
David, is he getting off or not?
I don't think he's going to walk away unscathed, but I do believe they did not prove a RICO case. And I certainly believe he will be getting out of prison. And I know that the prosecution has failed in proving that, he was involved in a RICO case. This was not a RICO case. And anyone who knows what a RICO case is, you being in law enforcement, they didn't prove it. And remember, it's beyond the reasonable of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And a doubt is there, man. And that's why these
There's
charges,
a lot of doubt.
that's what I'm saying. That's why these charges were dropped. Several charges were dismissed. I mean, to be honest with you, as it stands right now, it's looking more favorable for Diddy than the prosecution. That's all I have to say. And that is a fact, because if it wasn't, the charges would not have been dismissed. If they thought that they could convict him on the charges that they dismissed, they would have kept them in the case.
I felt that's a strategy because the other charges were easier to convict on. So for them not to go through all of that shit, they wanted them to deliberate on just the charges they know that they think they proved.
No distraction.
That's what happened. But like you said, listen, man, this is karma for Diddy. I'm not saying Diddy's a good person. I don't think he's actually a good person. I think he has demonic ways about him personally, right? Even though I know this man, right? But I don't think he's all bad. He's done some good stuff for the community. He donated $1 million for the Harlem
Look,
school.
nigga, let he
me
without
finish.
sin cast the first stone.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. Fair.
I'm not saying that, but I ain't never beat no bitch up over no pussy or fucking another nigga. I never did that. I don't do that kind of stuff.
Bro,
I don't do that kind of stuff.
Listen, bro. So what are we saying? And look, are you saying that all the bricks that we sold is lesser of a moral sin? Hold on a second. You know how many lives you've
paid my
destroyed?
price for that,
Hold
though.
on. You know how many lives you've destroyed with what you've done? Families you fucked up, niggas you sent to
that I
jail.
have done?
People that yes, you personally with the drugs that you've
Okay,
moved.
so let me ask you a
You're
question.
no better than Diddy.
So let me ask you a
We're
question.
no better than Diddy. And when I say us, I mean Cola, I mean me. We are all guilty
me
of
ask you a
some
question.
moral. Listen,
Absolutely.
hold on a second.
Absolutely.
We are all guilty of some
correct.
moral sin. And what I have to say about that is, I am not the judge of you, Eric. I'm not here to be like, you know what? Eric should go to jail because he did.
But
Listen,
here's the problem.
listen, hold on.
This
Let me
is
finish
important.
first.
You made a good point.
Let me finish first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the judge of you. If he likes to sniff coke and have sex with Cassie and have another dude watching videotape, bro, that's his business.
Don't forget the sperm on his chest.
That's his business. Yeah, exactly.
Allegedly.
If he likes to if he likes to rub glizzies while his wife gets smashed down or his girlfriend, whatever you call her, bro, that's his business. That's really all we've been talking about.
But here's the thing.
That's all we've been talking about.
No. It goes a little bit deeper than that, right? You said something, and I have to contest that respectfully.
Go ahead.
In this country, you're a citizen. You're not required to pay taxes. You're not even required to vote. You're not required to own property or even have a job or career or any of that stuff. The only thing that is required of you as a citizen is jury duty, sitting in judgment of your fellow man. So yes, you are his judge. Unfortunately,
From a legal perspective.
from a legal perspective,
From a legal perspective.
absolutely.
From a moral perspective, from a spiritual perspective, I'm not the judge of you. God is the judge of you. The Lord will judge those who are
I gotta
in
tell
the
you-
wrong. The Lord will judge you and me, Eric. We're both going to pay for our sins.
That is a
But-
perfect
but-
answer
but-
to get thrown off of a sitting jury.
Kick me off.
No, that's the thing. Anybody,
I'm
who
not
is-
convicting you
No,
anyway.
no.
They're not picking me.
anybody who's unable to
I'm the guy who hangs the jury.
Oh,
I'm
well.
the guy who's like, I don't know if Eric did it.
anybody
That's it.
so sometimes you will be in a position where you're now asked, what don't you believe? And you've had so much evidence. One of my favorite prosecutors would, when he did his voir dire, when he did his jury selection and his questioning, he would ask, a commonsensical question. We're all New Yorkers, Brooklynites sometimes. Commonsensical question. You hear a loud crash. You come in. Your 3-year-old child is there. There's spilled milk on the ground. There's an open cookie jar, and he has cookie crumbs on his cheeks. Right? You're now saying, well, I'm the guy who's going to hang the jury. The kid didn't do it. But
I didn't
we
see
got
him
the-
eat the cookie.
No, you didn't.
Maybe his brother slapped him with the cookie and the crumb got stuck on his face.
Very
Kids
well.
fight.
Very well.
How do I know that you didn't get slapped with a cookie?
Quite possible. But guess what?
Bro,
Guess what? Have you ever sat on a jury trial? Have you ever served on a jury?
I have not, but
Okay,
I've been
so
judged by a jury.
I gotta
I've been judged by a jury.
So you get to see it from one perspective. What I can tell you is a judge gives instructions, and those instructions are very clear and very direct. Your job is not to speculate. Once you say maybe his brother, wrong. Any maybe, any perhaps, any
But
supposition, any
isn't
speculation.
that my attorney's
Everything that
job?
you're saying is
No.
Isn't that my attorney's job is to
Absolutely not.
plant seeds of doubt
No,
to make sure I don't go to
your
prison?
attorney's
That's
job-
the entire
No.
job of the attorney.
So be clear.
It's to
Be
distort the
clear.
facts,
No.
to plant doubt.
He's not there to distort the facts. His job is not to distort the facts. His job is to give you an alternative view of the facts. In other words, you
Which
come
means
in.
distort.
No, it's not a distortion. Here's the thing. You come in, there's a dead body on the ground. There's a guy standing over the body with a smoking gun. Murder, right?
Bro, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, right?
There you go.
If it doesn't
So,
fit, you must acquit,
what-
right?
what the
This guy
prosecution-
tried on a glove, acted like it was too tight, he couldn't put his hand in, did like this, the glove doesn't fit. And all of a sudden, that seed of doubt was planted.
But that wasn't.
It was his attorney's job to plant what? Doubts.
Yes.
That's it.
But let's be
I
clear.
don't know if OJ did
But let's
it
be
because
clear.
he was acquitted.
No, OJ
I
did
don't know.
So here's the thing. What I can tell you is this. The defense attorney's job is not to get you innocent. It's to get you not guilty. It's to draw a wedge between.
That's not a fair statement.
Of course, it's fair.
It's
So
not
few people
fair.
understand the
If
difference
I'm not
between.
guilty,
I know the difference.
There's a distinct
But I know the
difference between
difference,
not
but
guilty
see,
and
I
innocent.
understand what
There's
you're
a
saying.
distinct difference.
but I like to buck the system.
Okay.
So I don't give a fuck what you did. If you beat the case, nigga, you're innocent. I don't give a fuck if you did it. But if you beat the case, you're innocent to me.
So here's
That's
the
how
thing.
I feel about it.
Here's the thing. You get to
agree.
say that. You get to say that when you're talking about something like, say, domestic violence or narcotics or fraud or white collar
you know what
fraud
it
or
is?
embezzlement.
Do you know
When
what it
there is
is?
the human cost of a body.
Do you know what it is?
Just real quick. A body.
I understand what you're saying.
If I am sitting here holding the hand of a mother and her kid is dead, when you say, well, not guilty, that mother's kid is never coming home again. There are certain elements of
That's a
evidence
different
that
circumstance.
that's the circumstance we're saying.
No one died here. Cassie didn't die.
I understand.
She got
That's why I
slapped
said
up at
there's
the
a difference.
hotel, and then she got a $20 million settlement, or however much money she's getting. Now she's getting another $5 million for them
My only-
suppressing the
my
video
only-
evidence.
my
Bro,
only
she's
cost-
doing well.
No,
she was
no.
fairly compensated for what happened to her. Are we serious here?
No,
She
my-
was
my-
fairly compensated
my
for what
only-
happened to
my
her.
only
There's a
possession
girl
is
in the
the human
projects getting
cost.
slapped up right now who's not going to get a dime for it.
Sure.
Cassie got $25 million, bro.
My issue is the human cost. So when we say things like,
Cola, bro.
there's
Cola.
no real big difference. No, I want to
I'm-
clarify that there's a difference.
I'm
There's a
angry
difference.
with
there
you
is
now.
a difference. You're right. I understand what you're
I'm
saying.
angry with
There's
you
a
now.
difference.
I want to share this
Please.
closing thought as our time
No,
is
no, no,
short.
no, no. I
Our time
can't.
is
I
short.
can't. I
Our
can't
time is
leave.
short.
I
Our
can't
time is
leave with
short.
you angry with me.
Our time is
No,
short.
we're not angry. Come on.
That is angry. I gotta.
I'm furious with him at this moment. He's my brother, but I'm furious
Please.
in context. So let me explain something to you. And you're on the other side of the law, and I want to explain some things to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Me being on the side that I was on, and you being on the side that you're on. The chips are stacked against us in society when it comes to this judicial system. Our legal system has been stacked against people of color since the very beginning. And what I can say, and this is me personally, every now and then when one of the bad guys gets off, to be honest with you, I'm not mad because so many innocent guys have paid the price. So many innocent guys have paid the price. And this is since the beginning of time. We're talking about a legal system that was formed after slavery to continue suppressing us and legally enslave us through the prison system. This has been going on in America since the beginning of time. How can we overlook that and be like, oh, well, we have to make sure that justice is served? Bro, fuck justice, my nigga.
I can never.
Look at my face. I don't give a fuck. Get away
Listen.
get away with what you can get away with, because this country is fucked up. And the way they do black people and people of color in this judicial system is a tragedy. So when you say, oh, Diddy might get off, let him get off. Let him get off.
Well, I hope he gets off.
No, let him get off, because there's a couple
You got
$100
$500
million.
on it.
Bro, there's a couple 100 million people doing time all over the world right now that don't deserve to be in prison. So if one dude with notoriety gets off, you know what? I'm all for it. OJ got off. Maybe he was guilty. I don't know. I'm all for it, because you know what? There's a bunch of guys serving time for murders that they didn't commit right now at this moment. And you say, David, I'm worried about the plight of these children that don't get 2 meals and this and that. You're not worried about the guy that was wrongly convicted and put in prison for 50 years?
No.
That's
no,
another.
Hold on,
that's
hold on.
another thing we should be
Hold
worried
on,
about.
let's be clear.
You
Let's-
didn't mention that.
Hold on.
That's all I'm saying. In this conversation,
I wasn't asked.
you did not say.
I wasn't asked.
Well, listen, you wasn't
So
asked
let me-
about
let
if you
me-
care
let
about
me-
the children either.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Of course, I'm concerned about wrongful convictions. That is something that
I'm just saying you didn't mention that.
Hold on.
Let him
me
talk.
get
Let
there.
him talk.
That is something that is absolutely corrosive to our society. But it's corrosive for a different reason than you might ordinarily think that it would be for me.
Okay.
Wrongful convictions, as my former boss said, also lead to wrongful acquittals. You have to agree. Sometimes he fucking did it.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So when you say fuck justice or let him get off, no. I don't want the guy who actually did it to get off, and that's somehow payback or penance from the guy who didn't do it, and he's now in prison. I would rather a guilty man go free than an innocent man be in prison. Of course, that's the standard afterwards. I get it. Here's the problem.
I'm glad you said that. Say that part again, though.
I would rather a guilty man go free,
yes,
than an innocent man be jailed.
That's all I'm saying.
I get it. No.
Okay.
There's more to it than that.
All right.
There's more to it than that.
Go ahead.
Sometimes there is the guy who did it. You know he did it. And you know what? I will never advocate for a position where he could walk because you know something. He's paying back. This is payback for the guy who didn't do it. You know why? Here's the thing.
I got something funny to say.
And when we cheers, when we saluted in the beginning, we saluted as brothers.
You're still my brother.
Of course. But let's be clear. There is nothing more destructive. We talked about black people. We talked about white people. We talked about other people. There's nothing more destructive than to our common human fabric than the violent removal of one part of that fabric by another member of that fabric. Nothing more destructive. So guess what? Without making it a race, gender, age, height, sexual orientation, or any other breakdown, human cost that somebody has been violently removed from our common human fabric is something that I will never say, well, he could get off because there was a time that there was somebody else that was wrongfully convicted. We could do two things at the same time. We can convict the guy who did it, and we can free the guy who didn't. Let's not act like we can't have two separate hands.
You're the guest, and you're going to have the last word. Let's wrap this up, David.
Please.
I want to say thank you for tapping in here at the Delgado's podcast. I want to thank my prestigious guest, this gentleman, Cola.
Thank you, brother.
I
All
love
Sunday.
you.
I appreciate you.
Joe, you don't know how much this means to me that you're here.
Don't
be anywhere else.
Don't ever think that when I say I'm angry with you, that carries outside of this conversation.
Oh, no.
Right? Let's keep that in context. That's number one. That's for the audience. And then number two, I want to say this. I want to give you this closing thoughts. The opinions and views that are shared on this show are ours specifically. We're not trying to force them on you. Our opinions are based on our life experiences and what we know to be fact. And whether you agree or disagree, we can all get along and respect each other's opinion. I respect your opinion so much that I'm actually going to take into consideration some of the things that you said after this podcast. Like, I'm really going to ponder the thought. And I want to thank you and Eric for both being here today. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in at the Delgado's podcast, available everywhere that you stream your podcast: YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Sirius XM, Apple. You know what it is. Tap in.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Salute.
Salute.
And we out.
Yo, that was a great show. That shit was crazy.
Introducing the Meridian, a sleek sports timepiece crafted for those who embrace uniqueness. Inspired by iconic luxury watches of the past, this daily wear masterpiece combines modern elegance with affordability, adhering to the go anywhere, do anything ethos. So join the VIP list at www.jackturnerwatches.com.
The revolution will now be televised.